Everybody, Cashflow Chris here, taking on.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Cashflow Chris here at
What's up, everybody? Cashflow Chris with Investors Edge Real Estate Group here.
All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for showing up. Traction Day 3. Over the last 2 days, we went over the first couple chapters, and then we hit the VTO, the Vision Traction Organizer, really hard on that one. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Were you guys able to get your vision out there for the most part, your core values?
Yeah, it definitely helped me a lot, zero and get that singular focus on those values and add to my vision.
Awesome. Hey, I got to go get the sheet. I'm going to go get my VTO. I forgot to bring it in here. Why don't you guys talk for just a minute, go over some ahas that you had from the first section and from the VTO. Some ahas.
So any ahas that anybody came up with?
No, because I'm still behind. I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah,
the
yeah,
VTO is yet,
well,
so I'm still behind.
It's
Sorry.
a vision process. So basically, you start off with your core values, and it's all things that we've heard before. So when we're mastering our business or we're part of a group, figuring out your top 5 core values, and then you can go to your core focus. So my top 5 core values that I want in my business would be honesty and the structure of ethics. Organizational awareness would be number 2. Massive value through abundance coming from service, so service related. Having clear communication and maximizing personal relationships. So that'd be all my 5. And then the next section would go into your core focus. And that was broken up in saying that you need a purpose, a cause, and a passion. And then also what would be your niche or our niche. So my purpose would be to, in my business, to have win-win creative financial results. So as long as everybody wins, everybody comes out, we have a great result. So that's like my purpose and my passion about it. The niche would be the value of relationships that are being maximized and the value through service with clear communication. That's on both sides in the real estate world. I mean, no matter what you do, it's not just buying and selling. I mean, you have to have relationships. I think I found that in many businesses. I don't know if you felt the same way, Aaron.
Yeah, it's like I love what I do, but I have to explore other options to set up future retirement plans and get cash flow, man. That's where it's at for me anyways.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, man. That's really like my year's focus has been to get into a cash flow route, chopping my debt. I just finished college, so I was in the military, so I have some of my, some of that covered. So it's like just being responsible, financially responsible. And I feel like you can never learn everything. So it's, baby steps. You focus on one thing and you keep, progressing on top of that. So then we went into like our targets. So you have your core values, your core focus. Then the next section would be your 10-year target. And like, obviously, whether you're in a business or you're about to start one, a 10-year target seems so far to me. But then really when you're in it, it comes up really fast, And so it's like, what are those goals, dreams that you have for your business or your direct target that you're aiming for 10 years out? And having that focus to start that far out and then coming backwards is what Chris went over with us. So I wrote like having a passive income stream and also having 10 million in annual net income. So breaking that down passively, I mean, that would be, $2,739.72 a day to get, for what I want to do in the future on an annual basis. So we just broke that down. You showed us how to do that. You're just breaking down, your years and your months, and then you do your weeks and your days.
Yeah, once you got your long terms, then it's just kind of just breaking it down, kind of just doing math and dividing.
Yeah, I found that very helpful. It made it real for me, Chris.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Lucy, did this? Were you able to get some numbers down on paper?
For the target,
Yeah.
nothing more than what we already had. Just because I couldn't make a decision yet.
Okay. So definitely just try to just throw something out there just so you have it, and then because it's always something you can change.
Okay.
But those are kind of the fun ones. The 5, 10, the long-term target. Those are the BHAGs, the big, hairy, audacious goals. And so those are fun to think of. So yeah, so we got ours filled out for the most part. We don't have issues yet because we haven't run a meeting yet, and it was good. I liked it. And again, it's probably going to change drastically. That's why you can redo this quarterly. So we did the VTO and chapter 1, 2 through 3 last week, the last 2 weeks. So now we're going to move into chapter 4, the people component. So let me start the slideshow real quick. So in the people component, we're going to go over a few things. We're going to talk about, are they the right, who are the right people? We're going to talk about what is the right seat for these people. And then we're going to be talking about hiring and accountability, and then how to run it that way. So we're going to be having talks about the accountability chart today, and it's going to be really good. So having your big year, your big long-term goals is good, because you want to think about that. So when I'm doing 100 million, what does that look like? How many people do I need to have on my team? What kind of lead generation do we need to have? How many deals are we doing a year? What does that look like? How much money do I need to raise? And then what are the jobs? What are the different positions? This is an 8-man team. It's a 80-person team. What is your business? Break it down. So that's where thinking ahead of time is good, because again, you're going to have a lot of these positions, and right now your name is going to be on every single one of those if you're a solopreneur or if you're a small team, which most of us are. So don't let this hold you back to where, like Eric, for example, someone in a real estate sales, you may, I think we talked about how many buyer's agents you're going to have, who's the listing agent, who does your marketing. And then I think systems and processes are going to be able to fill a lot of those seats as well as we go along. So let's get started. Chapter 4, the people component. There we go. So getting the right people in the right seats. The right people are the ones who share your company's core values. In this chapter, you'll be introduced to the second EOS tool, which is the People Analyzer, which will cut through the murkiness and personal choices to show you who's right for your company. Core values plus the People Analyzer equals the right people. The right seat means that each of your employees is operating within his or her area, the greatest skill and passion inside your organization, and that the roles and responsibilities expected of each employee fit within his or her unique ability. When a person is operating at his or her unique ability, he or she is in the right seat. So I'm going to go through the book real quick. So core values plus a people analyzer equals the right people. So you can see how core values is so important, right? Because you have to hire through core values, you have to fire through core values, you have to make decisions based on your core values. So those are really, really important to come up with. And then also to review, I would say, again, don't be afraid to change your core values. If you're just like, you know what, this is what we thought it was, but this is not right, this doesn't feel right, then definitely don't be afraid to change that. So there's a few different type of people. So they talked about a person's unique ability. That is, everybody has certain things that they're just really good at. And so you want to be able to harness that and find that in each of your people. Let's see, we got a chat here. No, sorry, I'm at home, guys. Okay, let's see. We got some people waiting in the lobby. Hold on, let me let them in real quick. So you have a few different options, right? So you have the right person in the wrong seat. In this case, you have the right person, which means someone who shares your core values, but they're truly not operating at their unique ability. The second, you can have the wrong person in the right seat. In this case, the person excels at what they do. They're extremely productive and is clearly within their unique ability. What makes this person the wrong person is that he or she does not share your core values. This happens a lot with corporations. They have a high performer and they don't get rid of them because they're a high performer. They're making the company money, you know, and but they're maybe just not the right fit. They're just their personality or whatnot, you know. Right. All right, so yeah, so the second is the wrong person in the right seat. And then the third option, oh, sorry, one quick. Yeah, so I highlighted a few things. So describing this person, he or she is chipping away at what you're trying to build in little ways that most of the time you don't even see. It's the wry comment in the hallway, the dirty look behind your back, and the dissension that person spreads. The wrong person in the wrong seat is a person that must go. Your job is to hire, fire, review, reward, and recognize all of your people around the core values and unique abilities. So now we're going to go over the right people and how to find out how they are the right people. So accountability chart. Oh, actually, before we hit the accountability chart, we're going to be going over the people analyzer. So if you guys have the book, it's page 86. The people analyzer is designed to clarify whether you have the right person in place or not. This is one of the top 5 tools used by all my clients. The concept was created, blah, 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 blah. The first thing you do is you put the names of the people you're trying to analyze on the left column. Then you list your core values across the top. Then rate each person according to his or her adherence, giving 1 of 3 ratings. So a plus, he or she exhibits the core value most of the time. Plus, minus, sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. And then a minus is they do not exhibit core values most of the time. The ideal you're shooting for in your organization is to surround yourself with 100% the right people. So what does that look like for you guys? So for me, for recession-proof investments, our core value is ethical and honest, transparent and trustworthy, and a simple, streamlined process. So I would put people in it. So let's put BP in it. Is BP ethical and honest? You know, then I would mark that plus, minus, or a minus. Is he transparent and trustworthy? I would rate it there. A simple, streamlined process. So there you go. That tells me maybe that's not a core value. Maybe that's, you know, we need to find something else because, yeah, I guess that's not really a core value. So we need to go back to the drawing board, but that's okay. This is why we do this. So then I would put myself in this chart, right? Is Chris this? Is Chris this? Plus, minus, plus, minus. And then make sure that they have done that. And then that's something to where you're going to, anytime you're hiring, you're going to put them in that and you're going to run the core values. That, you know, they tell a story about guys who will just run themselves out of the organization. You know, as long as you're beating the drum of core values, this is what we believe. The people who are not the right fit are kind of just going to weed themselves out as well if you don't fight them. So the 3-strike rule. This 3-strike rule works as follows. Strike 1, discuss. This is if what do you do if someone is below the bar? Before you make any drastic decisions, I highly recommend that you communicate the people analyzer results to the person and give that person a chance to better his or her performance. He or she will improve almost all the time. The question is, will they improve enough to move the bar? Most people will, some won't, but you have to give them a chance to perform according to the new structure. So strike 1, discuss the issues and your expectations with this person. Give them 30 days to correct the problem. Strike 2, if you don't see any improvement, discuss their performance again and give them another 30 days. And then strike 3, if you don't see improvement, stop. If you don't see improvement, he or she is not going to have a chance and is a must go. Sorry, guys, my dogs are in here. All right, why don't we step back a second and talk about this? Do you guys have your core values? If you do, are you going to be able to do your people analyzer here? Do you see any issues that you're going to come up with?
I see a lot of issues I'm going to come up with. I need those people.
Right?
Yep.
Can you see how you will be able to hire based on this as well? How
Yes.
you use this to hire based on your core values?
I absolutely do. I think it's brilliant. I love it.
Great. Okay. Any other thoughts or comments on this part of the book?
I think they talked about the GWC as well. I don't know if you remember that, Chris. The Gets It one.
Okay. Yeah. Here, I'll move on to that. That's right. All right. So here's 4 following steps for the people analyzer. Step 1, after discovering your core values as a leadership team, people analyze each other. First, it will validate your core values. If you're all weak in one particular value, you should question whether or not it should truly be included. Second, you will see if someone in the leadership team is below the bar. Step 2, have your leadership team people analyze everyone in the organization and then have each manager share those results in one-on-one sessions. Step 3, use the people analyzer on your quarterly performance reviews with all team members. Let them analyze you as well. Step 4, if your leadership team is struggling with a personal problem, run the people through the people analyzer. This will give you a clear perspective on whether it's the right person issue. If it is, there's nothing more to discuss and you'll know how to solve it. If it isn't, and it might be the person's seat, don't worry, we'll cover that next. So right seat. The right seat means all of you, once you're confident you've selected the right people, it's important to get them in the right seats. That means all your people are operating in their unique abilities, and those abilities are clearly in line with their roles and responsibilities. Does anybody have an accountability chart, or not even just an accountability chart, but a chart of an organizational chart? Does anybody have that right now? Have you ever drawn one of those up before? No?
I have a rough draft.
Yeah, we do have a rough draft on ours, right? Jordan, do you have that available?
Yeah, but it has no names yet. I just followed what the book says about,
No, that's perfect. It doesn't. It should not be, because it's not a person. It's a job. You know what I mean? It's a place in the organization.
Yeah, that's right. The titles in the accountability chart. Yeah, the visionary, integrator, and
Yeah. So this is our. This is one that I started working on last week. So I had this. Changing businesses. Going from the. I have the development side, and that's totally different. So I'm looking at this other business as totally separate, and it's really been eye-opening because the goals, the challenges, the people, everything is vastly different. And even though it's another one of my actual businesses, it's really funny to see that. So so we have the visionary, and this is something that I think is going to really be interesting because I have partners on both my companies. So you can't have 2 people in one position.
Yeah, that's right.
Visionary and you have an integrator.
Integrator.
And I think I'm not looking from outside, because when I'm thinking about it, and maybe see Jordan knows me very well. He's obviously in our organization. So Jordan, you could probably answer this question easily, but I don't know if I'm a visionary or I don't know if I'm the implementer in my business. And I don't know what BP is either. What do you say? What do you think we are?
Right now, since we are revamping and implementing a new system, looks like you are more fit to be the visionary. BP is, I think, more fit to be the integrator.
There you go. So you have your visionary, you have your implementer, and then you have your operations. So this is how we're running it. So we're running our operations, Um, within operations is finance. So that's kind of its own thing. And then over here, we have a couple arms. So we have our sales and acquisitions, and everybody that's involved with that, you know, a lead manager, transaction manager. Over here, we have our property management. We have our head PM, our on-site managers, our rehab team, our leasing agents. So there's all these different components, all these different parts of the company. So this is what we're going to be talking about. So let's talk about that for a minute. Lucy, is your goal to be a wholesale / investment company? What's your 10-year outlook, 5-year, 10-year?
My outlook would be to have wholesaling be a component, but not the whole business.
Okay, what's the business look like? What's your long-term vision?
Long term, I think I want to do some, like, get a portfolio, but I also want to do some development or some sort of, I don't know, something with development. I'm not really sure exactly, but I feel like I.
Okay, so you want to have more of a traditional real estate investing company where you have, you know, you have your marketing going out, you have deals coming in, and then you can either wholesale it, you could flip it, you could, you know, maybe do development, like you said, something like that. Okay, so how many deals would you be running through a year, would you say, or a month?
I think it depends on what niche I end up in. Because if I end up in a bigger niche, I feel like there won't be as many. Like if I end up with like a more expensive niche rather than like you guys are doing the smaller single families, like the cheaper single families, you're obviously going to be able to get more of those than you would like a large apartment building in a month. So I haven't really decided on that yet. I'm interested in both.
Okay, so you need to work on the vision.
Yeah.
If it was just you could just have whatever you wanted and poof, it was there, what would you get?
Probably apartments.
So you would start buying and owning apartments?
Yeah. And I like the idea of creating apartments out of industrial buildings, like do like lofts and stuff. I think that's cool.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So think about that. What does your team look like? Eric, how about you? We talked about yours last week, right? About how you're going to have a sales. No, we talked to Kelly, actually.
Yep,
That was
that
Kelly
wasn't
we
me.
talked about. But we talked about, so what does your sales team look like?
Oh, ultimately, I look at it and say, hey, I'd like just like 2 listing agents and 2 buyers agents. And this way they can run around and do all the appointments, and I can just strategize everything at home and implement like the newest, latest marketing for the real estate business. Because I like watching
Putting
trends.
it out there, and your guys are.
Yep, let them especially go out, let them go deal with the buyers, because that's time consuming. Basically, I'd like to figure out how to just remove myself completely from it and get me replaced as well, so I can just scale one thing and just put it in the business in other locations as well.
Hey, what's up, Flip? We're talking about our longer term goals and how many people might be involved in that. So we're thinking about, 10 years down the road when our business is fully functioning, going at full capacity. What is that? And we want to have clarity on it, because it doesn't have to be this big, huge, giant thing. Maybe Lucy wants to do 1 deal a year, but it's a home run monster deal, and all her cash flow. Some people, your goal is to be very simple, and that's great. You need to do what you want. We're not living other people's dreams here, for sure. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let's move on. So the accountability chart. Okay. So next to the VTO, the accountability chart has the most impact of any EOS tool. It forces its users to view the organization in a different way and to address people issues that have been holding them back for years. For this exercise to have impact on your company, you need to instill a few ground rules. Number one, you must look forward. You cannot look back or get caught up in the present. It will distort your judgment. Number two, you must detach yourself from the existing business, your current role, and your ego. Number three, you must elevate yourself above the business to look down on it and make decisions for long-term greater good of the company. The accountability chart starts with the fundamental belief that there are only three major functions in any business. Those three functions make every organization run, regardless of whether it's a startup or the largest company in the world. What are those three? Anybody?
Was that operations, sales, and finance?
That's it. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Sales and marketing, operations, and finance. Assuming that all three major functions exist in all organizations, the next truth is they must all be strong. Let's move on. So they talk about the different people in your group. Integrator. The number one they have is the integrator. The integrator is the person who harmoniously integrates the major functions of the business. When those major functions are strong and you have strong people accountable for them, get healthy friction and tension. Great healthy friction and tension will occur between them. The integrator blends that friction into greater energy for the company as a whole. He uses the term integrator. There's many names for this: CEO, president, general manager, king, or queen. It doesn't matter what you call it. The bottom line is the integrator is the person who has the unique ability to run the organization, manage day-to-day issues that arise, and integrate the three major functions. The integrator is the glue that holds the company together. So who here is the integrator? Raise your hand if you're an integrator. Okay, good to know, because we might not be that person. You know, when you're looking to grow your organization, you may want to hire an integrator. You want to hire for your weakness. Bring Kelly on here. So first of all, when customizing the accountability chart for your company, the three major functions might split into more functions. For example, sales and marketing sometimes split into distinct sales function and distinct marketing function. Operations sometimes splits into 2 or 3 distinct functions, such as delivery, project management, or customer service. Finance and admin can split into as many as 4: finance, admin, information technology, and human resources. The second factor is that any major function is not the second factor is another major function that is not on the front line. It may, in my experience, when a company creates its accountability chart, half the time they realize that besides an integrator integrating the major functions, there's another very powerful role in the organization. That role shows up above the integrator function and is called the visionary. Hey, Kelly. The concept of the visionary within the accountability chart is one of my greatest discoveries. I've had clients teach this concept at universities on my behalf. Understanding and implementing this concept is eye-opening and empowering. Frankly, it has kept some partners from killing each other. The visionary and the integrator couldn't be more different. In a small to mid-sized company, the visionary is typically the owner, co-owner, or founder. In a partnership, most of the time, one partner is the visionary, the other is the integrator. It's a dynamic that has elevated them to where they are. The visionary typically has 10 new items a week. 9 of them may be great or not so great, but one usually is. And that one idea each week keeps the organization growing. By contrast, integrators are typically very good at leading, managing, and holding people accountable. Does this resonate? Are you a visionary or are you an integrator? I want to hear everybody. What is your gut feeling? Are you a visionary or are you an integrator? I
would definitely say a visionary.
Visionary?
Yeah.
Lucy, flip. You can put a V if you want, if you can't, or whatever. Why can't I do a V? There, V.
I've got components
Visionary.
of both, so I don't know.
So Jordan's a visionary. Lucy, what'd you see? You're not sure, Lucy?
I've got components of both. I'm not very good with the details, but so Probably visionary. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. JT?
I would say with my group, I'm definitely the visionary under Sam and them, but then my personal team, I'm the integrator, making sure everything gets done and followed up, systems, processes.
And with us, or Kelly says visionary for sure. Flip, did you say visionary? You need to unmute yourself. If you hit the bar, it's over on the very bottom left.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. I would definitely say visionary.
That's very interesting. So why is it that all visionaries are on this call? How come there's no integrators on this call?
They're all busy.
Lucy, this probably shows you're probably a visionary. Might not be true, but seriously, I think that's really, why are the integrators not on this phone call? Why are integrators not trying to grow the business? Is it because the visionary needs to put it out there and say, hey, this is our business, this is how it needs to be run, go run it? What do you guys think?
I think integrators, in my opinion, have always been doers. They're not afraid of, organizing, gathering, the chicks or the wild cats with their hair on fire running all over the place. They can organize it, put it together. So a lot of their skills are definitely time-based. They're always doing something.
But do they need to be told what to do? Or do they need to be told that this needs to happen? Like not do this, this, and this, but hey, I need this done. Not
Yeah, I definitely, yeah. Because I'm sure, think about UMBP's business. I'm sure each of you have played a role on either side and been like, oh, I've seen this done this way, and it'll make it easier for us when we do it, right? So in that motion right then, you're the visionary. But then it could be like, okay, well, I'll do it like this. Then you're an integrator, right? In my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. This is really kind of eye-opening, you know what I mean? Because I never really thought too much about that. So yeah, so integrators are typically very good at leading, managing, and holding people accountable. So if you're not good at leading, managing, and holding people accountable, gosh, man, this really resonates for me. BP will yell at you and be like, why didn't you get this get done?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, it's okay. We'll get it done next time, right? But that's the wrong seat for me, right? Should I be the disciplinarian in our business, or should BP be the disciplinarian in our business? Wow. All right. What makes the accountability chart more than just an organizational chart is that once the major functions are clear, each is defined by 5 major roles. Example, the visionaries' 5 roles might be as follows: R&D ideas, creative problem solving, major relationships, culture, selling. So the thing is, you don't put any names in any boxes, right? You want to create the organizational chart based on the job, not the person.
Title.
In other words, illustrate the correct functions at all levels of the organization. Once this method will keep you honest with yourself and lead you to the best structure. Once the right structure is set, then put the right people in the right seats. When you choose someone from that seat, you will be certain that person is operating in his or her unique ability. So you say, for example, the visionary, 20 ideas, creative problem solving, big relationships, culture, research and development, more on emotion. That's the visionary's position, not a person. Integrator, lead, manage, accountability, profit and losses, business plan, remove obstacles and barriers, special project management, more on logic. Sales and marketing, operations, finance. What are the different positions under that? Under finance, you're going to have a bookkeeper, you're going to have a CPA, you're going to have, HR, office management, maybe IT is under that if you have a bigger organization. When you're finished, the accountability chart should look like an organizational chart with 5 bullets that illustrate the major roles of each function. Important note, The accountability chart will clarify function, role, and reporting structure, but it will not define communication structure. Your communication should free flowly across all lines and departments where necessary, creating an open and honest culture. You guys catch that? That's a big one, I think. So you need to clearly define your communication structure. That's one thing that we kind of have been struggling with ours, is where do we put everything? Where do we communicate? How do we communicate? And we've gone with a Trello based, everything. We just have all the boards on Trello. Everything's updated there. And then we're going to be moving from Messenger right now. We're all on Messenger. We're going to be moving to Slack, right, Jordan? Yeah, till Slack. So we'll see that.
I use Slack. I like it a lot. It works really good. It makes a lot of stuff easier.
Nice. So here's an example of what your organization may look like. You may even just steal this and maybe get rid of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but steal this and just, fill it out if you're having a hard time figuring it out. And again, this is Traction. You guys can, if you don't have the book, you can definitely download this. It's everywhere. GWC, your completed accountability chart clarifies who is accountable for what. With this level of clarity, it's time to put the right people in the right seats. To do that, you need only one filter, the GWC, which stands for get it, want it, and capacity to do it. The GWC is a tool that that doesn't matter. To reach the next level, you need the people that report to you to be able to take the ball and run with it. When you, as their leader or manager, clearly articulate the seat, including roles, responsibilities, expectations, and measurables, and present this opportunity, you will have created an opening. One of 2 things will happen as a result. Number 1, they'll step up and take charge, or they never will. If they don't, it's because of the GWC. One part of the GWC is missing. Number 1, get it. You've seen people who get it and people who don't get it. It simply means that they truly don't understand their role, the culture, the systems, the place, or the pace, and how the job comes together. Not everyone gets it. The good news is there are plenty who do want it. This means they genuinely like the job. They understand the role and they want to do it based on fair compensation and the responsibility. In many instances, the manager feels the need to motivate, overpay, or beg a person to want it, when the reality is they don't. Sometimes their egos, your hopes, or their ignorance about the job entails will lead them to think that's what they want. But if they don't, they're never going to provide that spark, no matter how effective a manager you are. So stop beating your head against the wall, find someone who wants it, and the difference will be immediately apparent. And then the C is capacity. Capacity means having the time as well as the mental, physical, and emotional capacity to do job well. Sometimes the position might require a commitment of 55 hours a week, and the person's only willing to commit 40. Sometimes the job requires a certain level of intellect, skill, knowledge, and emotional intelligence, and the person doesn't have that capacity. I've had the situation where I'm just better at talking to certain people a certain way. You know what I mean? And so I've had GCs come in, and I've tried to bring people in to come in and lead my crews, and they mess it up every time. I think probably because I'm bringing in the wrong person. I'm bringing them in the right way, but different people are better at different jobs, right? That's what we talked about, having the unique ability. A no on any of these means that they're not the right seat for the right person. It's not their unique ability. You must not fool yourself to this point. You can occasionally turn a no into a yes if you're willing to invest the time and money to elevate that person. However, in most cases, you don't have the time to wait for them and adjust to the learning curve. You guys ever do personality charts when you're hiring? Could be big, right? You want to make sure you have the right personality for the job. DISC, yes. Kelly says yes. Kelly, what are you? What's your DISC profile? I. Really? Okay. Go, go, go. She likes to talk. I haven't taken it in several years. When I first came into the business, I was a S and a C, which is very conservative and I not liking to talk to people. I mean, that was me straight up. Like, I got into real estate. I'm like, wait a minute, I have to talk to people. This is sales. What? Here's one to talk about. One name, two seats. You can have one name and two seats, not two names in one seat. Make sense? We're gonna have one name and like 15 seats if we're all honest about it, right? Because there's so many different parts. You know, you guys are marketing manager, you're head of sales, you're taking phone calls, you're the CEO, you're the visionary, you're everything. You're finance, you're the CPA, you're the bookkeeper. I get it. But you can have one name in more than one seat. You cannot have two names in one seat. That's why I was saying we got to figure out. Not two of us cannot be the visionary. Only one person has to be the visionary. One person has to be the integrator. When an organization first starts out, the founding entrepreneur occupies every seat. He or she is one name in all the seats. They are the integrator, the head of sales, marketing, operations, head of finance. As the organization grows, new people are brought in to fill the seats needed. That's another great reason to do this, guys. This, along with your 80-20, that tells you who your first hire should be, right? Who does what and what does most of the work? You know, well, we're spending most of our time in marketing, right? Because we're trying to find deals. We're doing SMS blasts. We're doing reverse voicemails. We're taking calls. We're comping properties. Boom, boom. Marketing is taking 80% of it, right? Okay. Well, that's probably where you need to hire someone first. You know, so you're going to go to that. You're going to write down every single thing that you're doing, and then you're going to do the 80-20 chart. Reach out to me if you don't know what that is, but that's where you're going to find out what your 80% is. So you can do the 20% and you can give away the 80% because that's usually going to be the cheapest thing to give away. And so this is big. This is big. Delegate and elevate. As your company grows, you have to rise to your unique ability. And the same goes for your leadership team. With your accountability chart in place, you can now determine when someone is working at full capacity. Each person only has 100% of his or her working time. This 100% represents the amount of time each person is willing to work and still maintain balance. For some people it's 40, for some people it's 70. Everyone's different. When the amount of work requires more than 100% to do the job well, say 120%, something has to give. This person needs to delegate and elevate the extra 20% because he or she is holding the organization back and hitting the ceiling. This is fantastic. So when you bring on your first hire, not only you're going to do your 80-20 and give it to them, you're going to take away their 80-20. What if, because your first hire most likely is kind of going to be like a personal assistant, right? Because you just want to dump everything that you have onto them. But what if you can dump all their crap onto somebody at an even cheaper rate, right? And then you're elevating. Like Jordan was my personal assistant for several months last year, and I want him, you know, just think about how you're going. So you're taking the top 20%. And this is on my desk. Everything else is going over here. So you still have a big chunk of stuff to do, but that chunk of stuff still has different level of importances. So if we could I don't want him to have to do everything. I need him to do the most important part of what I gave him. And then so if you can just keep going down the line until either everything is done or you figure out, well, these aren't really that important, and you're going to find out a little bit of everything. See how many people that you need in your organization at that one place, or maybe it means more than one person. You can have two different people in the same seats, but you have to have two different seats, right? So you can have two buyer's agents, you can have two acquisition specialists, but you have to keep it separate. So this is an example of what it might look like year one. Right? So you have your big one, but then you're going to break it down, and this is kind of my business. You have your visionary, you have your integrator, and then sales, operations, and finance. And Brad's one, Tyler's the other, and Tyler's in finance as well. right? This is actually us, right? Or no, so I'm the visionary, but I'm in head of finance too. And then that's something to where like, well, we need to hire someone for finance because that's not my highest and best use. But until we can afford that, that's what we do it. And then that's also where, hey, instead of finance, we're not going to bring somebody on for a bookkeeping position. We're going to hire that out, you know, or hey, we're going to use QuickBooks. So here's a good example of using systems. AppFolio does tons of stuff. So we don't need a property manager per se, because most of it is done through the system. We don't need someone to, let's just say a major apartment, they may have somebody who collects rent, right? That's their person. They're the rent collector. They go by the first of the month and they go collect rent. Well, that position doesn't exist in my organization because everybody has to pay within the system. So a computer program is my collector. So interesting stuff. So you can see year 3, it grows. Year 5, year 10, it grows even bigger. And this, I like going here and then working my way backwards. You know, at our very largest, what are we? And then scale back to what you need. And then I definitely want to reiterate, it doesn't have to be this, guys. It doesn't have to be some huge, gigantic organization, especially for a lot of us that are in our business. Yeah, everybody flips in. Everybody's in real estate, guys. We don't sell widgets, right? We don't have to go sell 10 million 35-cent pieces of something, right? We don't have to have a gigantic production. We don't have to have a 10-man sales team and make a lot of money. We can make a lot of money with a small, compact little team. So if not working a lot is important to you, if spending time is, you know, if you're like, hey, I want to work 20 hours a week, and then that's the way you build your business. It's your business. So it doesn't have to be something huge and crazy. And I think the way of the world is changing. I think we're changing to being more small, less. I mean, this whole thing that we're dealing with right now, everybody's working from home. You know, a lot of businesses are probably going to figure out, wow, they can just work from home. I don't have to pay $10,000 to rent this building, right? More efficient. Yes, Kelly, exactly. Being more efficient, you know, doing your 5 to 10% that is just vital, you know, and for someone like Kelly, that may be making your calls, you know, all this other stuff is great. But if I don't make my calls and I don't lead generate, the business is dead. And then you might find out, hey, I really suck at lead generating. Maybe I need to hire a lead generator. Maybe that's not you. For sales, hopefully it is you, because it's pretty important. So let's finish up here. We're almost to an hour. So evolution, as your organization grows, your accountability chart will constantly evolve and change. As you can see in the example before the preceding pages, think back to what your structure looked like when you were half your size. Now imagine what it will look like at double the size. What's the difference? The point is that the accountability chart is an ever evolving tool if you're growing. At a growth rate of 20%, you will make a change to the accountability chart every 90 days. Scalability. When you build out your accountability chart, you will notice that certain functions require multiple people doing the same job. The accountability chart becomes scalable. Where multiple people have the same job, you simply put the number of people on that function rather than adding multiple new boxes. Make sense? Your existing organizational chart. You may be wondering what to do with your existing organizational chart. Your newly created accountability chart should replace it and become the tool you use to illustrate the organizational structure. It clearly shows the reporting structure and the roles and responsibility of each function. Keep it simple. The next step is to share it with everyone in your company. They'll appreciate knowing where they fit and what they're accountable for. Oh, I can't wait till we roll this out. We're so close with our business. Right, Jordan? Like, we have all this is just being made. We have our manuals. We actually hired someone. That was a big step for us. We hired somebody. You can hire EOS, by the way, but they're not going to do it specifically for your business, but they'll help you implement your business. But we brought someone on to do our systems processes, to figure out what our roles are, what their job, who it is, what their job is, what they do, who they're accountable to, our communication structure. And we're so close. We're just about to roll it out. Really, really exciting, because and now it's a business. You know what I mean? Knowing that it's my role is just a role, and my job is to eventually hire every single position where my name is, right? And then once I maybe that visionary, maybe I'll always keep that role, or maybe I'll hire it out. You never know. I mean, that's the goal. Terminations, a word of caution. Now that you've created clarity, you should clearly see the people who do not fit in your organization. You shouldn't run out and fire them all. That would make you vulnerable as an organization and leave some gaping holes. So take a methodical approach to personal changes. Make sure that everyone on the leadership team is on the same page, and then move forward step by step. And they talked to you about it earlier, you know what I mean? Just give people a chance, you know, let them know. You can't just throw this on people and expect them to adapt like immediately. So give them a little bit of time. I think this is the end of it, right? Yes. So 3 questions to ask. When a client completes the accountability chart, we ask 3 questions to confirm that it's 100%. So I want you to ask these 3 questions with your leadership team, which if it's you, ask yourself this question. Number 1, is this the right structure to get us to the next level? Number 2, are all of the right people in the right seats? Number 3, does everyone have enough time to do the job well? A yes on all 3 confirms that you're 100% in this essential component. We now know what great leaders mean when they attribute their success to surrounding themselves with good people. It's putting the right people, which is the core values, in the right seats, which is the GWC and the unique ability. What do you guys think? Any ahas today? What did you guys learn today?
I got a lot of work to do.
Tell me about it.
Well, number 1, I got to start, really just taking a few days, you know, and just really focusing on mapping out my business and really go over the things that we just discussed and laying it all out.
Does he give you clarity on what you need?
Yeah.
To do? Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I
What do
really
you
need,
think?
just sit down with the clarity.
Yeah, so it'll really help with your long-term goal, your 10-year goal.
Yes.
You know, what does it look like? And remember, it's a big old goal, guys, and you always have the chance to scale back, scale up. There's no wrong answers here. I think the most important thing is getting it done, you know, having it there for you to look at. Anybody else have some takeaways on this chapter?
I just love the structure of it, how I broke it down really easy, and seeing that a lot of people have their own special niches, you know, and skills that they have built over time in their experience, and you gotta let them fit that role that fits with them. You know, sometimes you want to put, you know, a square block in a round hole. It doesn't fit, and so it clogs everything up, and I've seen it. So it's kind of cool to see it, get some ahas and like where I've been doing some things wrong operating or some things I can correct.
That's good stuff. You know what? I have a really good friend who, over the past 2 years, he's been trying to build his organization, but he has been trying to make everybody fit every role. So, for example, he had this one guy, super talented guy, super talented cat. Really, this guy was kind of like more of a visionary type person, and he made him start cold calling. And this guy is not a cold caller. It's not his personality. He doesn't like it. He's not good at it. And so it was just fail, 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 fail. What's wrong with this guy? You know, why can't he do this? Well, it's because it's not the right seat for him.
Yeah.
You know, move him to a different seat in your. For example, he generated like 15 leads for this guy online through like social media stuff. And that's what he liked. That's what he liked to do. That's what he was good at. That was his unique ability. And so instead of looking at the production and be like, hey, what's the end goal? The end goal of cold calling is to get a lead. Well, he got leads this way. So why are you exactly square peg in a round hole? And that's on the owner. That's not on the employee. And that relationship's over. That guy left. He got frustrated. You know, he knew he was talented and he wasn't being used correctly, and that that can be frustrating for people. They don't want to go to work doing something that they hate every day. They want to do something that they enjoy. So if you want a really good cold caller, find somebody who loves to cold call, who just eats that shit up. That's not me. I've done it. I'm not a door knocker. I've done it. I've done it lots of times. I'm willing to do it, but if I'm going to hire someone on my team to do that, I'm not going to hire me because I'm not good at it. I don't
Makes
know.
sense.
And maybe it's someone would say maybe I have to get good at it, and it's all necessity, right? So if I'm not eating, I have nothing on the plate, I have nothing in the pipeline, I have no team, I have no money. Well, yeah, I better go get good at it. I better go work my ass off and do everything. But we're talking about putting the right people in the right seat. So
Yeah.
anything else? Anybody else have any takeaways? Flip, I know you missed the last couple. If you go on the YouTube, you can go over the first 2 days. We went over the VTO, the Vision Traction Organizer, to get some clarity on your business.
Oh,
and
sweet.
then, so we spent a lot of time on that.
Excellent. I'll check it out today.
Cool, man. So next we have the data component, which if we look at that, so this is going to be good. We're going to be talking about scorecards, measurables, KPIs, key performance indicators. So it's a really thin, really skinny chapter. Let's see. Chapter 6 is the issues. So let's see. Issue solving track. Okay. So why don't we do chapters 5 and 6 for next Friday?
Next week. Okay.
That work for everybody? So we'll talk about the data component, and then we'll go over chapters 5 and 6. And then after that is the process. We'll go over processes. Let me see, actually. Yeah, let's have a process be its own day so we can really narrow that down. I think process is a very important part of it. And then let's see, chapter 8, traction is kind of putting it all together. Yeah, so that's good. So we'll probably do 3 more days on this. I figured it would take 6 to 8 weeks. So I really want to nail this down. Again, guys, I hope that you're taking advantage. I hope you're printing this out. I hope you're filling this out, completing it, because again, we want to implement this into our businesses. This is a very, and if you don't do anything else, do your core values.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like what you wrote. I want everybody to have, and I'm going to go change mine. So we have 3, and I figured out I don't even like number 3. So we have a whole bunch of other we chose. So we're going to pick it. I want everybody to do your core values. Everything starts with your core values. So go back, read that chapter, figure it out. And even if you don't feel good about it, write it down. And I want everybody to tell me their core values next week. Okay. So hopefully you're taking advantage or filling this out and implementing. So when we're done here, 6 weeks later, you're going to have a whole little process for your business. Thanks for showing up, everybody. See you next Friday.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris.